Gals, you may have noticed that we've stopped saying what women are talking about as a descriptor at the start of the show, and there's a good reason for it, and here it is. I think when we first came up with that line, there was much more of a monoculture. Women, and I'm using air quotes there, women were generally talking about the same broad cultural and news stories 10 years ago, but now things have changed so much, and it's all mostly down to the way algorithms and social have really sent us down these highly specific, individualised rabbit holes, and the monoculture's sort of been flattened by these very specific subcultures. So you might think everyone's talking about a specific thing when in fact you're just in a rabbit hole or on a particular algorithm. And the more content you consume about that particular thing, anything from Trump to the Bezos wedding, the more of it you'll be served. So it ends up perpetuating itself. And the other thing that's happened is the way the algorithm has really flattened that distinction between what's important and what's not important. And it's often what's not important that gets the most traction, maybe because it's a distraction, I don't know. But TikTok is particularly rife with microdramas, very low stakes arguments between either professional content creators having drama or just random people who decide that they need to share something that's going on in their life. And I just wanted to do a quick round the grounds of some of the microdramas we accidentally learned about while scrolling over the weekend. Jessie, hit me up.
Okay, so mine has been there's a beautiful bridal store in Sydney.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And
You already had your wedding though.
I know, but my algorithm is like, hey, you were married. It's time for your second wedding. All right. Do you need another dress? Basically, this bride comes out and says that she paid $15,000 for a wedding gown, which is a lot. But anyway, no judgment. And it isn't the right fit. And she says that this bridal store has done nothing to help her. She's like, I paid all of this money. Now I need to do $4,000 in alterations. And I keep emailing to get help from them because they've stuffed up. This is their issue and they're not replying. And she's really angry.
I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
That sounds like customer service and a feedback form.
Okay. Well, then what happened is that the bridal store came out and they said, excuse me, we are being absolutely defamed over here, and we will have you know that the time between her getting her measurements and us delivering the dress she ordered, she lost a significant amount of weight and that's why it didn't fit. And I got to the end of that and
Is there
I was
more?
like
did something happen?
Now they're meeting in person. I think today. I think they're sitting down for a meeting today. I know.
Breaking news.
And I kind of know where the store is, so I could go and hang out there. But I didn't need to know any of that. In fact, that was an email chain that I was copied into.
Yes.
That I don't need to, I have no say. I've been CC'd on an email
Yes.
chain that is none of my business. Go sort it out. Why am I being brought into this? What drama have you been consuming?
Okay, so 4th of July recently happened on the 4th of July in the US.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was just last week was the 4th of July.
Last
Yeah.
week. There was this woman who came up on my TikTok feed bawling her eyes out. She was sitting in a car bawling her eyes out and it was story time.
Gets me every time. What happened to
Story
you?
time. So she was saying how it was 4th of July and she's new to the area and she's a single mom with kids and she was invited by one of her kids' parents to a party, a 4th of July party, which is a huge, huge deal in America. You don't want to spend 4th of July alone. So she went to this party. She bought a salad that she said cost her $40 to make.
Why do I know how much this
This is
random
so
woman's
much
going
detail.
Oh, and she also put a photo in it. It looked really good. It was like an antipesto situation.
Okay,
So
okay,
like
that's
meats
important
and
that we know what the
cheeses,
salad
really
was,
expensive
yeah.
stuff. And she says she got there and then she was like introducing herself to everyone, but everyone seemed very cold. And then suddenly like the woman who owns the house came in and was like, why are you here? Like you weren't invited. Like she felt very like, oh my God, I thought I was invited. Like why is everyone being so mean to me? And then we're like, have a great drive back, like really sarcastically. And she was so upset. She had to bring her kids back in her car. Her friend who invited her apologized and she drove back and she said she ruined her son's 4th of July. And that story like lived with me for the whole weekend. I was so upset. I was like, this poor woman, I wonder what she's going to do now. What's it going to be like at school with
Don't
the kids?
CC me. Don't CC me. There are two that I had on the weekend. One is an Australian influencer called Sarah's Day.
Where is Elijah? Yeah.
Yeah,
With the perfume.
You were
Yeah,
also
I know all
CC'd
about
on this.
this, yeah.
She was
what happened?
meant to do a fragrance collaboration with a female-founded fragrance brand called Who is Elijah.
Who is Elijah? Yeah.
I think I might have some of those
I
fragrances.
love
Anyway,
Who is Elijah.
Yeah, it's really good.
they're not
Such
doing
good
it
scents.
anymore.
Oh, no.
But we don't know why.
And so there's
But there's
like
a statement from all
statements.
parties.
Everyone's been making statements. Don't CC me. Like sometimes business things don't work out. I didn't need to know that. I want to be removed from this narrative. The other one is a content creator who I don't know accused another content creator who I also don't know of copying her content, which I'd never seen before. But then, of course, now I've gone and seen both of their content.
And do you pick a side?
Oh,
I don't care. I wanted to remove, Mia has left the chat, except the chat is the internet. And then a third content creator then came and weighed in on her opinion and said, I also was dissed by this. I can't.
What's happening here is that content needs a hero and a villain, right? We need to be rooting for someone. And I think it's why that content is so addictive.
But none of this is any of my business. Why is everything, and maybe this is ironic because we're on a podcast, but why is everything performed for an audience?
Well, I think that there's a few things, right? I'm thinking about the 4th of July woman. I'm thinking about the Bridal woman. You have two choices in those situations. You could confront the person that you're having the issue with directly and have it out privately. Or you could find that confrontation too much and you could go and privately in your living room quietly with no two eyes in front of you and no one to maybe challenge your version of events, yell at the internet. And I know which one's easier, the yelling at the internet, right? And it's the equivalent of Jessie going to dinner, which I did last night, and telling a story about Luca where Luca has no right of reply. And I can tell you in that story there is a hero and a villain.
Yeah.
And what I don't need is anyone to cross-examine Luca on the witness stand. That
He doesn't need to make a reel in response.
He doesn't need to.
He does not need to go
I
onto
get to
TikTok.
tell my narrative.
Yeah.
I get a lot of people to applaud me and go, Jessie, you are so right. And I go, yes, I know I am so right. And then I move on with my life. It's the equivalent of the dinner table where you just need people to kind of give you that positive reinforcement, I think.
And main character energy.
Yeah.
But then don't you run the risk, like I think about my 4th of July person, and doesn't she run the risk because now she's gone so viral, like she's everywhere. And I have notifications turned on for her because I am waiting for a response from someone at the actual party.
Because I think her story's not true. I mean, I have some questions about what occurred because I think she walked in and she did something unusual because you look at it and you go, Dr. Phil used to have a line where it was like, if it doesn't make sense, like, come on, there's got to be more to the story.
You need all the POVs.
Yeah, I need all of the point of views.
But maybe this is just, I guess.
But it works for
The
you, Mia, because you
modern-
know those stories. So like you were in it. You were invested at a point.
But I don't care. Like I'm not saying I'm so clever and I'm just, such an intellectual that I'm not interested in microdramas. I am. It's almost like it's quite hard to hold them all in your head when you're following, it's almost like a passive thing where
Is it the
you've
new
been
Bold and the
CC'd
Beautiful?
and then you're suddenly in it. Yes.
It's the new Bold and the Beautiful. I reckon it's how we are consuming. We've always needed this. We've always needed like little gossipy French Revolution times, the first time they had a printing press. So they had little gossip sections because they were like, everyone
Bridgerton
needs a little bitch sometimes. And I feel as though that's now moved to TikTok where it's, I love something that's low stakes. No one died. There's no massive accusations at play. And in the defense of some, like, who among us has not had a moment where we have felt hard done by and thought, I'd love to go and spray them on the internet.
Yeah, but the
I've felt
difference
that in my gut
is,
before.
in all seriousness, and I also understand that very human desire to, when you feel wronged, you want to go.
It's your only power.
But you want to find someone who'll go, that's what happened to you. However, when you do it online, there are real world consequences for those other people that you're talking about, whether it's a brand, whether it's an individual. And they didn't necessarily want to be brought into this narrative either. So the decision to then create content about a private situation, whether it's a transaction or a business transaction or a social transaction or a breakup or something that's gone wrong, you're then opening that person up to huge real world
But I
consequences.
suppose that's the democratization of the phone, right? It's because it's the one thing that we all have. And I remember being in having a situation with an airline, right? This was overseas, and an airline that screwed me over so much. And I was like, I just want to post, because I know that if I post, I didn't, but if I did, then they'd have to respond, and they are treating me like a bug on the bottom of their shoe. Like, they don't care about me. It was like this terrible customer service. And as someone who, like, what power do you have other than spraying them on the internet? So I think that that's where we all find ourselves.